Hello everybody. In this screencast we're gonna go over this assignment which focuses on making API calls. It has several APIs and it has actually two screens. The first screen shows a list of cities. We're gonna get this list of cities from by making an API call, and then after that we go to the next screen. When you click on one of these cities, it goes to the next screen where you actually call two APIs, and we'll look at that in a little bit more detail. The APIs are provided to you in Alamo, in a Postman file. The zip file is here. You just import the zip file into Postman. So here is Postman. You click on import, and then basically the file that's provided, you unzip the file. Basically you go in here, you unzip the file, drag it and drop it. You just take the JSON file, drag it and drop it here, and then it's gonna import it. I already have that collection, so I'm not going to here it is anyway. So I already imported it, and there are three APIs. So the first API is an API which is a GET request. Click on send, and then boom, it gives you a list of cities. So each city has something like that. So we'll start with this. Going back to the app, now we are going to make these APIs calls using Alamo Fire. You're provided with a skeleton application, very straightforward also, and I'm going to add Alamo Fire. So I go here and click file, add packages. I'm going to add Swifty JSON, Alamo Fire, Kingfisher, and Pick a Hood. So I'm going to add all of them. So add this package, Swifty JSON, add Xcode. Let's say we can also do this from here. You click here, you click here, here, and then basically package dependencies. You click here, click on plus, Alamo Fire. Okay, so this is Alamo Fire. We add the package and add package. Same story. I can click on the plus sign again here. Swifty JSON is already there. We'll add Kingfisher because we're gonna add the pictures. Okay, so add that. Also adding Pick a Hood. Here's that. So I added these three libraries using the package manager here. We have added the three libraries. All right, cool. So now if we look at the screen, we see that the first screen loads, and this is a list of cities. All right, cool. So now when we there is a cities view controller, we'll look at it in a little bit now. All right, and what it does is that it's a list of cities. We're gonna make this API call. Here's that Control C. I'm gonna create a function, call it get cities, right? And basically it's going to call that this API. All right, good. So we're going to import Alamo Fire, here it is, and basically af dot request. There's that, and then dot response, and I'm gonna say response data. Here's that. Here it is, response, and we're good. Okay, good. This is the URL. Okay, here's this, and here we go. All right, and then at the same time also I like to go to Alamo Fire always. So here's that, and then basically I would like to response with validation, and they have an example here how to do response with validation. Control C, and here's the requests. Before we do the response data, we ask it to provide some validation. Here's that. The response is going to be in JSON, and here's my response data. And then I can just go here and copy this code that they have here. Control C, Control V, Control A, and then Command I to auto indent. Here's that. All right. So now we can also do Swifty JSON and all of that stuff. But before I do this, I want to see what the city looks like. So this is what a city looks like. I copy that. I'll go in, right click new. Let's say new file. I call it city. There's that. And I know it's class city. Here we are. It's gonna look something like this. Here's that. And basically I have a var name is a string equal to this. Sorry. Name. Okay. Lat and long. So basically lat and long are doubles. So this is name state lat and then lng for long, but these are doubles. Double and I make them 0.0 just to initialize things, 0.0. And then similarly I'm going to do the same thing to long, and we're going to use Swifty JSON. So import Swifty JSON, here we are, and then we create an init that gets a JSON which is from Swifty JSON. Here is that's the init. And then basically all what we're going to do is that self.name equal to JSON of, and it is name, here's that, okay, dot string dot value. All right, and then similarly we're going to do the same thing for the email and for the other two. So here's let, and here is lng, and this is going to be lat, and this is lng, and this is double value string value, and then we have the state. Here's the state and state. Good. So we are done with the parsing of the city. Here's the city stuff. Good. So we have both of them. So now what I'm going to do is that inside the cities view controller, let's go back in here. You have a table view controller. And I just want to display it. So let me add a cell, a table view cell. Here is that. We add it here. I'll go in and add it, for example, city cell. Here's that. That's the reuse ID. Okay. Now I pick the table view and go here, data source and delegate. Perfect. And we click here, assistant, and I'm gonna copy or add a reference to the table view. That's it. Good. And I think that's it. That's all what we need. Now we go back and write our code. So this is the cities view controller. We can try and see. So what are we going to call this? We're going to call it here get cities. Now in order to parse, so basically what I'm going to do is that we come in, you get the whole thing, which is JSON object, and then we're going to go into cities. So in order to do that, very straightforward. So if it's successful, if let data equal to response.data, here we are. Now if let JSON equal to try question mark JSON of and data, right? If that's the case, we'll continue on, right? That's the JSON stuff. We're good to go. We are good to go to load this JSON in scope. Yes, we need to import Swifty JSON. Swifty JSON, here we are. Good. So then when we're done here, we can get loop over it. So for each item in JSON of dot array of value. See here we have an array of cities. So that's what we're getting here. So I'm going to say cities. When we come in, we're going to do let's have an array of cities here. Var cities equal to city, an array of cities. And basically when we start, we say cities dot remove all, and then here we do let city equal to city of item. All right, and then self dot cities dot append city to it. So we're good. We added the city, and now we tell the table view dot notify or data reload data. Sorry, reload data. Here we are. Good. Now we need to do some extensions. This needs self. These need self. All right, good. All right, good. We're done here with loading and so on. We can do import pkhood. Import pkhood. Here's that. And then when you start it, we could say hood hud dot show dot content view. No, not this one. dot progress, labeled progress, and here we're saying loading data or something. Loading cities, and we could say, hey, please wait. All right, here it is. Okay, good. This is the show, and then we do the hide here. Hide here. Okay, good. So we are done with loading all of that stuff. Where do we call this function? We called it here, so we don't need to see this function anymore. We go here and do the extension for the table view, right? Extension city for the delegates, UI table view delegate, and data source. Okay, here's that. So we're doing this, and then we need to add the methods. Here we are. Add the stubs. This returns the table view. So let's cell equal to table view dot dq for identifier and index path and return cell. All right, here we are, and we can get let city equal to self.cities of index path.row. We have the city, we have the cell. There is a missing one, number of rows in section, right? That's the other sub we need to add. It's going to tell you that it's missing. Here it is, and we return self.cities.count. All right, good. We're good here. Now, if this works, we are going to see that, okay, what we could do is we could do cell.label, text label.text is equal to city.name plus comma plus city.state. Right now, if everything works, we're gonna see a list of cities. All right. Okay. See. JSON equal to try. Let's see if this works. This is JSON. Let's see. Okay. Now when it runs, and we'll wait a little bit until it runs. It didn't display yet. Okay. I'll run it again. Okay. Here it is, loading series, and it breaks. Okay, good. So let's see why did it break. Unable to DQ cell with identifier. Yes, I need the identifier of the cell. I didn't copy it, so that's why. There's that. This is the ID of the cell, city cell I called it. So now we go back here. Where is it? We go back to the cities view controller, and DQ. It's under the DQ. Here it is, city cell. All right, here we are. We run it, and here are the cities. We're good to go. Okay, good. So now when we click, we want to go to the next screen. Let's go back to the main here. There is already they already have a segue set up. Cool. And it doesn't have an identifier, so let's give it an identifier. Here it is. We call it, for example, go to forecast segue. All right, here's that. Copy this. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is that when you click on one of them, I will say prepare for segue, and then now let me check something. Where is it tied up? So when I click here, it's tied up to the table view. It's not tied up to let's see. So does it happen when I click? So what happens when I click? Does it go? No, it doesn't. So it's tied up not to the table view. It's tied up to the view controller. Okay, good. So now I will perform segue. If segue dot identifier is equal to this, then I'm going to do something now here table view, we did select row at item. We just say perform segue. with identifier. Sender is self, and here we are. Now when you are doing this, now we need to send the city across. So here it is. We go here, we create a variable var city of type city question mark. Okay, good. Now here, if it's this, then we need to get which one was picked. I need to know which one was picked, so I can do let table view, let index path. I want the index path of the one that was selected equals self dot table view dot index path of selected row. And then I do this. I could say let city equal to cities of index path dot row. I have the city now, and then I'll do let view controller where we are going is segue dot destination as forecast view controller, right? And then vc dot city equals city. All right, so we're sending the city forward, and technically we are done with the screen. Now I don't know what's going on here. No calls to try. Expression. Okay. Yeah, we can fix that later, but it's just a warning, so I'm not gonna worry about it now. And now we run this just to get a feel of are things wired. Okay, here we are. You pick a city, it goes forward. Good. Okay, we pick a city, it goes forward. Perfect. So now what we want to do is let's have a look at what happens next. So now when you go here to the next screen, you will see that you can make the first request. You need the let long as part of the URL. Here it is. See, that's the let long, let comma long. So I'm going to copy that. And then what we are interested in is to actually get the forecast. So the forecast, you have to drill deep and then get this URL and call that URL to get you the forecast. You see here, that is the forecast. This is the URL for the forecast. When you make the request, it should return back the forecast URL. So now let me copy this stuff from here. That's the forecast. Control C. And if we make this request, forecast, oh, it's not available. Oh, okay. Please see, because this is the national unexpected error, problem continues, please contact blah blah blah. So it's not happy for some reason. Maybe so let's make the first request first, and then and then we'll worry about the second request. Maybe it will be running by that time. Okay, good. So now we need to make this first URL, first call to this URL, and then we want to get this forecast item, right? So let's try to do that first. So what I'm going to do is in the view controllers, when you come in, let's say I go move this guy into the view controller and then this guy into the view controller. Good. Forecast view controller, here it is. Okay, good. Now I'm going to do the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. It's the get request. Yes, it's a get request. So what I can do is I can go into the cities one, and I just can copy the whole thing. So this one, I can copy it from here. Control C, and I'm gonna say import, same thing, import Swifty JSON, import Alum Fire, import PK hood, here it is. Okay, good. So now this is the method that we're looking at, and I'm just gonna go get forecast URL, right? So forecast URL, right? And basically what I'm going to do is loading, I'll just say loading forecast. Please wait. So that's what's happening here, and then I am going to remove everything that has to do with the cities stuff here, and everything else looks the same other than I need the URL. The URL looks like this, so I'm going to construct the URL. So basically let URL equal to, here it is, and then basically this is the let. So basically I'll just do boom boom boom, right? And this is the long, right? So here we are, boom boom boom, and then this is self.city dot let, okay, and then self.city dot lng long. Here it is. So I have the let and long already configured. I have everything set up. The API, now you have the URL instead of this, so we'll just say URL. All right, here it is that, and then basically here we just could do print print JSON so that we see what we are getting back. All right, so then get forecast URL. I'm just going to load it here. All right, here's that, and then we run it. Okay, cool. So when we come in, we have the city. We just go in, call this method. It makes an API call. Right, so let's say Charlotte, or let's do it again for Boston, and it's not happening. There is a problem. Okay, the weather system API is not working, so let's go back again here and click on send. We're getting it here. Good. So it's points city let city long. So let's print it. So let's print this print URL. Right, we'll run it again. Oh yeah, because we're saying that it's going to return. Okay, I know exactly what the problem is. Go this. Yeah, you see here the response type is application geo-json. So we can change it so that it does that, or I can just remove this whole validation. I don't need it. Now run it again, and you'll see that it's gonna work. Okay, here we are. I click on Charlotte, and here's that. We're getting back the whole thing, right? And here is the URL. Okay, good. So we are good to go. Let's try another city. Let's say Houston. Right, here it is. Now you see, notice something. When you go back, the Houston one is still selected, so we need to deselect it. So where we do that is when we prepare for segue. So here I could do self.tableview.deselect row at index path, the same index path we used, and we can say true for animated. We'll run it again, and we go back. It runs the app. Charlotte, you go back, and so on. Let's say Chicago, and I am going to clear the log. Go back here, go to the city. Let's say Chicago. Okay, here we are, and that's the URL for Chicago. Let's see if we call this in the okay, let's run it like this. Yeah, it works here, and then I want to get the forecast URL. This one, here's that. Control C and Control V, which is the next one that gives us the forecast. Perfect, it's working. So this one is working. So I'm gonna don't save this one, save this one, and this one. Let's see, does it work? Yeah, it works. So now they are back to working. Okay, good. So we are able to get the URL. So now what I would like to do is to get that URL, right? So I'm interested in the URL. You know, when we call this lat long, we're getting a URL. I want this URL. So where is it? So I don't care about the context. I don't care about geometry. I need to go from JSON object to properties, and then from properties it's forecast. So I'm going to do this. Very easy. So now where is that? Here, when you call get cities, right? Not get cities. We are in the forecast. Okay, forecast. Here it is. All right, good. So now we are here. I could say let URL to or forecast URL to be equal to JSON of what? And if you look, it's JSON of properties, right? That's the first one. You see here, there is properties, JSON properties. Okay, so we are here. That gets you a JSON object, and then under that JSON object there is a forecast, which is a JSON array. So this is property. So it's not a JSON array; it's a JSON attribute. It's a string. So here is properties. Here's that. Okay. Let's see. I don't know why it's getting all this stuff with it. I need properties. Here's that, and then after that I want the forecast. All right, which is going to be forecast. Here it is. Control C, Control V, dot string value, and we have the forecast URL. Done. I have my forecast URL. Good. So now I need to create another function, and I'm going to call it get forecast details, right? And I'm going to send you a URL, so I can do URL string, right? Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just call it get forecast URL forecast details, and you pass it the forecast URL. All right, so we're going to call that method now. Now, if there is an error that happens, so basically here we don't hide the hood. If there is an error, we'll hide the hood, right? But here we don't hide the hood because we're still loading. We make the next request. using that one. All right, good. So now we go here, and basically get forecast details is exactly the same API. So I'm going to copy that from here. I paste it here. The URL I'm not going to change, so I'm going to remove all of that stuff, right? All of this is bye-bye, right? It's a get request again. See, it's a get request. So if we copy this URL from here to here, that's the URL we're going to call. And we paste it here and click on send. It's still a get request, right? So basically here is the URL coming in, and we're making a get request and then we are coming in here, and I'm just gonna print the JSON. All right, good. Requires explicit self, so this one needs self dot, right? And I'm gonna print out this JSON value just to show you what it is. Okay, here we are. Now we run it. So basically we're passing on the URL here, and we're making another call. So we are here, and validation successful, good. So we call Charlotte, and then you see we are making another an API call to this from this, and we're getting the, you see here we're getting the forecast URL, and then we're calling the next one, right? So we are able to make the other call, which is this one, and you see here it says context geo blah 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 feature, and you can see here are the features, which are all the values that we are seeing in the response. You see here the response has geometry, which we're not interested in. Context we're not interested in. I'm interested in properties, and then under it there is something called periods. All right, good. So now we are here. Now what I will do is I would like to I need to get the array of, I need this array called periods, right? Okay, so now I need the periods array. In order to get the periods array, let periods equal periods array to equal to JSON of. Remember, this is called properties. You see here properties. Okay, good. So now properties, here's that, and then under properties there is another attribute which is called periods. But this periods is a JSON array, right? See, it has square brackets, right? Square brackets. Cool. So now here we are, periods, and then array value, array dot value, array value. Is that? So we have the periods array, right? And it's an array of JSON objects, so I can do the for each item in periods array, and we can go from there. So each item is a JSON object. What does this JSON object look like? It starts from here and ends all the way to here. All right, good. So now what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to call to create a class, a new file, and I'm going to call it forecast. All right, here's that, and this is a class forecast. Here we are, and here's the JSON that's coming in just for me to parse it. And what data I get is really dependent on what I'm getting here. This should be the start time. You see here, I need the start time, I need the temperature, I need the humidity, and I need the short forecast. Okay, good. So now if you look here, var, and I need the start time. Here's the start time. Okay, start time is a string equals to this. So I have the start time. And I have the temperature. Okay, here's the temperature, and it's a double. And 0.0, I need the temperature, so I have the start time. I can remove the ones that I don't need, so I'm getting the start time. I don't need the number. I need the temperature unit. I can do that also. So var temperature unit as a string is equal to, let's say, Fahrenheit to start with, but anyway, I have it here. And I don't need this one, I don't need this. This is the unit value. I don't need all of this stuff. The property, okay, I don't need this. I don't need the dew point. If I need it, I can get it. I have the relative humidity. Does it show the relative humidity? Yes, I have the relative humidity. So here is the relative humidity. So then it's a double also. Var relative humidity as a double equal to 0.0. So I have the relative humidity. Wind speed, so it's a string. Okay, var wind speed as a string. Okay, to have the wind speed, I don't need the wind direction, I need the icon. Okay, so I need this. I need the short forecast, so var short forecast as a string. Okay, good. So now I do my init, and it's gonna receive a JSON of JSON. Okay, and then we need to import Swifty JSON. Import Swifty JSON. Here it is. And then basically what we're going to do is I need also the icon. So I'm going to say var icon. I'll call it icon URL, right, as a string. All right, so I have that. Now I get the JSON, so now I can get the start time. So the start time equals JSON of something dot string value, right? Something dot string value. Now what is it? It's start time. So I'm going to copy this from here to here and put it here. So that's the start time. So now let me just move everything that is a double together. So this is a double and this guy is a double, and let me parse all the strings first, just for the sake of simplicity here. Okay, so now I need to copy this 5 times, 1 for each one of them. So I have temperature unit. Here is temperature unit, and temperature unit is here also. So here is temperature unit. I also have wind speed. Okay, cool. So now this is wind speed. Here's wind speed, and here's wind speed. So basically, you see here it's just wind speed. And then short forecast, same thing. Short forecast. These are all short forecast here. And then icon URL. It is icon. All right, cool. So now I'm parsed all the strings. Now to get the double, to get the temperature is easy. You know, we just say, we'll copy the same code here that we have, and then we just say temperature. Here it is. Temperature is temperature. You see here, but it's a double value. Okay, cool. Now the last one is relative humidity. So we'll do this. We'll say relative humidity equal to JSON. All right, good. And then where is the relative humidity? Relative humidity is not here. It's here under value. So basically, we first go into relative humidity, and then under that there is a value, which is then we go do double value. Perfect. So now we have done with the relative humidity. So now just to recap, why did we do relative humidity like this? Because this is relative humidity. We go there. That's what we did here. And then under it there is a value. That's what we're doing here. And then we extract the value as double value, and we're good to go. So now we have the forecast done. Here's that. So I don't need to do anything now. I already have the forecast done. Good. So now all what I have to do is have an array of forecasts. So let's go here. We'll say var forecasts equal to an array of forecasts. And here we are. Yes. And then when we come in here, we'll just say self.forecasts.remove all. Here it is. And then here is we'll just say let forecast equals forecast with JSON, which is the item, right? And then self.forecasts.append forecast. All right, so we're good to go. We have all of this done, and then here we have to disable the hood. So where is that hood hide? Here's that. Here it is. Control C. Before the switch statement. No, sorry. Before the switch statement. Just gonna hide the hood here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do self.tableview. We need the table view stuff done. So now we need to reload the data. Reload the table view, right? Okay, cool. So now we're done with the parsing. I can even put a breakpoint here, just to show you that we're done. Print here, for example, right? And then we put a breakpoint. I will run it, and then we will see the array of forecasts. You know, that's basically what we're looking for, is an array of forecasts. Here it is. We click on Charlotte, and we're stopped here. But when you look at self and forecasts, and here are the forecasts. You see temperature, temperature unit, wind speed, icon, and so on, right? So we're good to go with this. Now we just need to set up the system. So now let's go back to the main here, and let's click here and see do anything is wired. No. Click on assistant. Okay, good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this guy from here to here and have a reference to it on outlet table view. Okay, we're done with the table view. We have, do we have this Any other? No, we don't. So okay, so here is that label forecast. Good. So now let's have a look. You should change the title. Okay, we'll change the title. That's straightforward. Now we just make sure that this is wired correctly. The data source, here's the data source, and here's the delegate. Perfect. Now I also noticed something is that you are also provided with, in the views, you're provided with a forecast table view. So if you look at the forecast table view, let's have a look at it. Here you have a forecast table view. Click here, and you see that the forecast table view, this is the reuse identifier for it. Okay, good. And let's see, is it wired? Let's see, assistant. Yes, it's all wired inside this class. Good. All right, good. So now what we need to do is we need to register this cell, right? This type of cell here. So we need to do self.tableview dot register, and this is uinib bundle and name, the name of the nib file. Here is that. The bundle is nil, just to say this is the default bundle, and then the reuse identifier is gonna be this one. Okay, good. So that's the table. You need to do that, all right. So now we know that when everything is said and done, we need to reload. So basically here is self.tableview.reload data, right? So we're done with this, and now the time comes for just doing the extension, right? Okay, extension forecast view controller and the UI table view delegate data source, UI table view delegate, table UI table view delegate. Okay, here it is. Okay, and now we just need to add the stubs. Here it is. There are 2 stubs. Okay, that's the cell. So let's cell to be equal to, and I'm gonna use the same. So basically when the view.load, I provided this is the identifier. Okay, good. So I'm gonna do that. Table view.dq cell with identifier 4. The identifier index path as is the type. Okay, return cell. Let forecast equals for self dot forecasts of index path dot row. All right, good. So there's another missing sub, which is the number of items, right? So here is return self.forecasts.count. Okay, good. All right, very nice. So now what I will do is let's say cell.date label equal dot text equal forecast dot start time, something like that. Okay, good. Okay, so now we have a couple of them. All right, so one of them is the date label, then we need the this, which is the temperature and the temperature units. So this is temperature label, which is gonna be okay. So there is 1 space, then 2. Okay, here's 1 and here's 2. This is the temperature, and the other one is temperature unit. Here it is. So we have the temperature done. And then humidity, we need to type humidity and then percentage 50. Okay, good. So basically let me copy this from here and put it here, and this is going to be humidity label, and this is going to be humidity and percentage. We're going to just say percentage after that. There's this percentage, and you want to show, say, humidity. All right, good. So we're done with this humidity, and then this description, and then similarly the wind speed, which is very similar to humidity. So we copy that from here, we paste it here, and this is wind speed, and basically the wind speed comes already with its units. So wind speed, here is that. So we're done with wind speed, and then this is the description. So basically this is the forecast description, forecast label, right? And this is going to be short forecast. Good. So we have all of that stuff done. Let's run it. and it will show the forecast. All right, good. We're here. Let's look Charlotte, and here's the forecast. Yeah, and the last label is not done correctly. What is this one? I think I did not. This is humidity, and this is wind speed. Okay, so you need both of them to show. All right, here it is. You will see now that I have both. Here it is, and you click on Charlotte, and here it is. We are able to get the temperature. This is the forecast. Very nice. Now we want the top here to show that it's Charlotte, so that's also very easy. We can do that when viewDit load. Here it is. We could come in here and say, for example, I would prefer to do it on viewDit appear. Did appear, okay. And what I'm going to do is that label or title. All right, here is title equals or set title. I think self.title equals and here it is self.city.name plus comma self.city.state. all right, so when you run it, viewDit appear, the city the title of the page will change. Here it is, Houston, and it's showing Houston, Texas. You see here, Chicago, showing Chicago, Illinois. You know, here's that. We can move it. I think we can also move it here before loading. All right, so when viewDit load, it will work also. Here it is. Okay, Charlotte. Here's Charlotte. Boston. Sorry, Boston. Here's Boston, and so on. Right. So here's the thing working. Now let's show the URL. So basically, the URL is also very easy. We'll use Kingfisher. So basically, I'm going to do import Kingfisher, and then all what I'm going to do is here. I'm going to do this. Let URL image or icon URL to be equal to URL URL from string. Here is that, and then the string is is forecast.url icon URL. So we have that, and we can do something like this. We can do that if let something like this, right? And then we do the Kingfisher. So Kingfisher how cell.imageview forecast image view dot Kingfisher dot load or dot something. I don't remember which one. Set image with and if you don't, I really don't remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. Where is Kingfisher? Kingfisher is here, and they have an example. So here is set image. All right, cool. So that's what I'm going to do. Set image, and here is the icon URL. Okay, good. So that's what's going to happen. We run it and see what happens. There is that, and then the images should start appearing. Here we are. Let's say Charlotte. Here are the images appearing on the side, and we're good to go. Yeah, so that's basically what is happening here. And you notice that I have the progress or the PK HUD showing, the New York one, and here we are. We're good to go. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions. We did demo how to use APIs and how to integrate it, how to load images, how to integrate it into these UI table view cells, and we did the parsing, JSON parsing, and so on, just to make things easy. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.